Hi, my name is Ammon Blair. I'm a former Border Patrol agent and an Army officer that served 22 years in the military. And this is Experts React. Today we're going to be watching Border Patrol scenes from TV and movies to see, you know what, do they really stack up to real life? This scene is from Breaking Bad.
Qué chidas las botas, ¿eh? ¿Qué tiene la punta? ¿Un poco de plata?
The hell's going on in there?
Oh, dang. Yeah, that's not something that you see every day on the border, but what we do see every day on the border is Mexican cartels coming in. What's interesting about this is, man, recently there was a county sheriff deputy who ran into this kind of like the same situation. The driver was an American citizen, and he noticed that there was a carve out in these hay bales. So he pulled the vehicle over, lo and behold, 12 illegal aliens. And that actually happened just south of Bastrop, which is 45 minutes away from here. And so the concept of smuggling, as you see that scene, that other kid that's being smuggled, he sees, oh man, look at these boots. The amount of money that they had to use or to buy those boots. I mean, you're not going to see some everyday Mexican national have that, or a lot of your illegal aliens coming across the border. All right, so now here's a clip from Fast and Furious.
Dom, head to the tunnel. Let's use the tunnel. You sure you know where the tunnels are? You sure? Yeah, hold on. This might hurt.
Yeah. What's crazy about this is in 2015, Chapo Guzman, you saw his family just recently come in and give themselves up at the border, 17 of them. But Chapo Guzman, when he broke out of the prison in 2015, he used a tunnel almost that size. And in fact, he had a driver on a motorcycle that used a pulley system, and it was a mile-long tunnel. Also air-conditioned. So these tunnels exist, not just within Mexico, because that was inside of a prison system in Mexico, but also throughout our entire border, other than near the river of Rio Grande. But you see this constantly. In San Diego, in fact, Hamas and Hezbollah actually helped the Mexican cartels figure out a way how to dig tunnels that size where it's a sandy area. All right, now here's a scene from Narcos Mexico.
What do you do when your drug protection decides to sit on the sidelines? Easy. You buy more. And everyone knows the best deals in Mexico are in Tijuana. Call it Costco for corruption, where you buy in bulk. Why buy a few local cops when you can have the whole damn force?
Man, you know what's so crazy is this happened recently here in Texas. Our whole entire narcotics team in Hidalgo County, called the Panther Unit, they were all in bed with the Mexican cartels, and they were all indicted. This is completely rampant along South Texas, especially now that the Trump administration is sealing the border from California all the way to El Paso using the U.S. Northcom or the military under Pete Hegseth's command. It's going to leave Texas completely wide open. And because 95% of our border is private property. So the cartel is realizing this. They're going to do the exact same thing that you see there. Their way of moving their product from point A to point B past our border is by corrupting our local law enforcement, corrupting the Border Patrol agents, corrupting local law enforcement, corrupting the military, you name it. This is the name of the game inside the United States, is cash. And cash is king. What's interesting in my area Sheriff Roy Boyd was actually doing an operation in Rio Grande City, and when they were doing it with, he was doing it with HSI or Homeland Security investigations, and when they were doing it, the local law enforcement was videotaping it and sending live feeds into Mexico. That's how rampant it is. It's a big problem. All right, this next clip is from Men in Black.
Where you coming from, Nick?
Fishing in Cuernavaca?
Sure you were. What do you say we take a look at your catch, huh?
Bájanse todos. Formen una línea aquí, por favor.
So, Nick, what do you get? Like $100 a head here? 200? Hope you saved it all for your lawyer, my friend, because you are gonna need it.
We'll take it from here.
Who the hell are you?
INS Division 6.
Division 6? I never heard of Division 6.
Really?
And so a lot of things. So in the very beginning, when he said, that he was just fishing, and let me see what catch he got, all along the river in the Rio Grande, that's how you can tell that they're about to move a product north. Whether that product is unfortunately human, narcotics or whatnot, you'll see fishermen on the river, and they'll be down there with bait or not bait, acting like they're fishing, but actually they're scouting for the Mexican cartels. And so we'd always go down there and we'd call DPS troopers on the gate wardens, be like, hey, where's your fishing license? And of course they didn't have one. They would leave. Then the next one, it's really interesting, is when they come in and say, hey, we're going to take over the situation. Man, this happens all the time to Border Patrol agents. The Border Patrol actually does a lot of the legwork on the border, whether that is narcotic seizures. You'll be laying in all day waiting for a drug load to come across. You get the load, and then guess what? You have to give it to the DEA or HSI. Same thing with the illegal aliens. Say you wait in all day, you're looking for their sign, you're sweating hours and hours. It's hot here in Texas. And then lo and behold, when you apprehend one of them, they're a special interest alien. And all of a sudden the FBI now takes the case instead of you. This happens all the time. And what's interesting is Border Patrol agents are still having to do the legwork today. Donald Trump is having to have Border Patrol go into LA to do what? Mass deportation efforts. And it's all because the Border Patrol are actually the ones who are actually having to do the legwork.
Hey, Ammon, you ever catch any real aliens on?
No, but we've had people state that they were not extracurricular, that they were aliens from other different countries, not necessarily from outer space, but we would get illegal aliens that would say that they're from vast amounts of countries, so that they would be released into the United States. All right, this next scene is in Sicario 2, and in fact, it's in McAllen, Texas, where I live.
How much do they make? For lookout? 20, 30 a day. Man, but that's all they're worth. But you know both sides of the river. You got a passport. Come and go as you please.
You can name your own price, you know. This is the border. The Matamoros cartel pay people well to work it. You can
start making dinner with me, cousin.
And unfortunately, this is something that we actually really don't address that much in the United States, is the cartel socioeconomic grasp on our youth. My last position as a Border Patrol agent, we'd go into high schools all the time and try to recruit, but also talk to at-risk teens. And they would come up knowing that that they're smugglers, and they would just come up and BS with you because they know that you're not going to arrest them. I remember one specific, this was in Roma High School, and this specific kid came up and just started BSing with us, joking around. We knew what he was doing. And he said, you know what, sir? You guys are so fat and lazy that you never catch me. And because of that, because I never got caught by you guys, I make $3,000 a week. And then he showed us his ankle, and he has an ankle bracelet, a tracker, and he's like, you did catch me once. And that is because I fell off a fence, I sprained my ankle, and then finally you fat guys were able to catch me. And so unfortunately, this is so rampant inside the United States. They utilize U.S. citizens because they can go back and forth. A lot of times they have family back in Mexico as well. And if there's And I'll just bring this small little snippet up. If you ever look up a story about the Wolf Boys in Laredo, the cartel came in and they utilized teenagers to become sicarios, hitmen. And in order to do that, just like you see in that scene, they'd go and pay someone, but their first duty was to shoot someone in the head, not to smuggle or help guide, to shoot someone in the head. And last but definitely not least is a scene from South Park.
Every day, more and more Mexicans are trying to get past this fence and go back to their homes in Mexico.
Yeah.
As Border Patrol officers, our duty is to stop Mexicans from crossing the border. We don't need to worry about the semantics of which direction they're going. We're just supposed to stop them. Marcus?
The standard issue Border Patrol weapon is the P-29 stun baton. It carries a 4,000 watt charge and is your best option for enforcing Border Patrol law.
This is gonna be so f***ing sweet.
You know, his statement about how this is so sweet. I remember we don't have those. I don't even know if they even exist. But in order to use less lethal weapons like that, you have to get certified on it. And so in order to do that, you have to get shot with it yourself. And so you have to take, of course, your jacket off, and they videotape it because everyone thinks it's so hilarious to see a law enforcement officer to get shot. And you sit there they say you take the electronic ride and you take it for like 6 seconds where you can't even move your body. And then they want to distribute it to your wives because your wives think it's so hilarious to see their husbands get shot with a less lethal. But this is also another interesting point is the White House is asking for many people to self-deport and go back to Mexico. But I'll tell you what, the Border Patrol has not seen a mass exodus at our southern border going back south. I will tell you though, one thing that we are seeing go south, and that is actually like bulk cash, weapons, ammunition. We're seeing that constantly, and we're not even checking that. So there is stuff that is actually going back south, but that is actually to fuel the war, not really what we want to see, and that is a mass deportation effort. You know, after watching these things, I can definitely say that Hollywood does get some things right, and that is cartel violence still rampant, smuggling of dangerous individuals, whether they're cartel, CC operatives, still happening today. That's why we can't let our guard down. I am grateful for this administration for doing what they're doing, but still a lot needs to get done.